My name is Andrii Bystrov. I work for several medias. And first of all, it's Ukrainian TV channel. I'm editor of Ukrainian TV channel. And now, of course, a lot of journalists work for different media. And first of all, for me, very important to explain situation for foreign media, to explain what happened now in Ukraine, explain situation, questions, for example, language, Russian, Ukrainian, difference, mentality of Russian, mentality of Ukrainian. So it's part of my job too, but I am TV editor. I work for TV last 15 years as a journalist, as a correspondent, as a reporter, as a chief editor, and as an editor. Well, I've been in Kiev in this time, and of course it was a shock for all of us. Because we understand situation, we are preparing how it's possible, but now when we talk with our colleague and our friends, family, people can't be ready for war because it's a missile attack and a lot of explosion, around your city, and a lot of panic, ordinary people. So we understand it can be, it will be, but we can't understand how it works in real life. So of course we prepare in our car, our fuel in our tank, and some money, some documents, of course, yes, but it's difficult to understand how it works in global level, because it was full invasion from Russia. It's not a local conflict or small cities. It's full attack with Russian army. I think for journalists, for me, for all our team, for my colleagues, it's one way for action to work as a journalist, because it's our time, it's our passion, our duty to work in this reality. So we try to do all that we can. We communicate with our colleagues from other countries, from Europe, of course, Balkan countries, a lot of contacts explaining. We prepare a report. We a little bit later, a lot of journalists go to line of border. I mean war line. We call it war line, and show their report. So we don't have another station. Of course, a lot of people live in Ukraine. It's linked with when you have a child or family, you should relocate, because it's dangerous. But for us, it's maybe one way to action. I think I never think about other way of life. Just it's my main skill to explain a situation, to show it by video, because I understand how video is emotional, how it works. So I should use my skill for that horrible time. Well, now a little bit we organized a little bit our schedule, because in first weeks it will be a little bit difficult, because a lot of people moving. We lost some connection with our colleagues, with our team, and our management tried to understand how move our outlets, our team, and how it works remotely. But now it's okay. We organize our process, and for example, Monday it's a day for planning. We planning our reports, and now we for us main things it's reports and information about not only about war and soldiers, and also about very interesting volunteering initiative, because a lot of people now help Ukrainian army and support Ukrainians, other Ukrainians support refugees, I mean internal refugees. And I know maybe it's you know better than me about Poland, how people support. So we prepare a report about these people, and we organize, for example, on Monday we planning our business trips, we planning our reports, we planning people and story. For example, now I just had a conversation with our journalist, and she prepared a report about people from Kremenchuk. And after a horrible missile attack from Russian, because a lot of people was killed by Russian missiles. It's you know it's ordinary big shop, big market, and we prepare a report about relatives, people who was lost in this this area. So it's planning and report. We try to be prepared emotional report about people. But you know, for journalists now it's difficult because a lot of people in usually in social media said, "Oh, you are prepare report about the place when rocket was attacked, and the Russians they use this report for correcting their fire, you know." And journalists should explain it's our job. We are not correcting fire for Russian, you know, because people in stress. And when your house is destroyed, of course you are in shock, and you can receive reality in normal way. So it's for us it's a little bit difficult too, but general a lot of people cooperate with journalists, ordinary people, and we have strong support from army. We have accreditation and defense when you work in war area, and we have strong support from local administration, and a lot of people understand how, because you know we are living in information war, and a lot of people in Ukraine understand we are soldiers too in this war, and why journalism as an action is important, as extremely important now for Ukrainians, for propaganda, for against Russian propaganda, for explaining Europe how it works, and what's going on now in Ukraine, because a lot of people I read Facebook and etc. A lot of people abroad can understand our situation, so our duty to explain it. Maybe for me, main goal, and how I feel my colleagues, to explain for our audience, for audience other media in Europe, in Poland, US, of course, in Baltic countries, to explain for the audience that Ukraine is a different nation than Russian. We are not a Russian. We have different values. It's European values. We are different mentality. It's not we are peace people. We don't want create empire like Russia. It's not our way. So for us, main things to explain real situation, because a lot of Russian propaganda spent a lot of money and spent a lot of time for during last, I don't know, 15 years maybe, Russia Today and etc. This they create some narratives like Ukrainian and Russian. It's brothers. No, we are not brothers. We totally different nation. As a for example, Russian and Georgian people from Sakartvelo. It's different people. I can speak Russian, of course. I can speak Ukrainian. It's not a problem. For us, we don't have any problem with language, but for journalists, our main goal explain we are different nation and we are we have our country. It's our country. It's our ground, and we we live here, and we don't leave our country in any situation, of course. As a media trainer, I have my personal course linked with information war and how our audience and the journalists should against to fakes, etc. So I studied it before war. So now we have, of course, it celebration of its party of fakes, party of information war, and now a lot of journalists, if you know Ukrainian Facebook, they prepare some initiatives. They explain a situation with fakes, and for example, main things for Russian propaganda explains that, for example, all attack it's Ukrainian, and of course they, for example, Kremenchuk, they attacked by rockets our shopping mall, and when we see Russian Telegram channels, they it's Ukrainians destroy they people, they factories. So it's main level, it's basic level. But for Russian people, for stupid people who can work with information, who can check this information, who can who don't have logic, and they for internal, all propaganda work for internal audience in Russia. Okay, it's good level for all of them. It's okay, but for normal people, for people who work with information, they think why Russian prepares this information. So of course it's first step of propaganda. For example, I have discussion with our friends from Bulgaria, and they said, "Oh, it was Mariupol time when Mariupol was Russian army around Mariupol, and we thought, oh, your Azov team looks like very strong guys, and I'm afraid of." And I explained, look, it's our special forces. you know, special forces, or for example, in Romania or Poland or Bulgaria, it's not a Mickey Mouse. It's not a people in pink clothes. Of course, it's the best soldiers. Of course, they look with I don't know, with beard, with tattoo. Of course, it's they look like a special team. And it's not a Nazi or etc. It's just soldiers, and they have special equipment, you know. Of course, it's look dangerous. So a lot of type of Russian propaganda. For example, you know, this narrative about safety of Russian language. Я могу говорить на русском, и меня никто не запрещает это делать. Это нормально. Мы все говорим на русском, so we can communicate on Russian. It's not a problem. But a lot of people think, oh yeah, it's maybe not so smart people from Russia. They think, oh, we should defend Russian language people in Ukraine. Why? You can understand situation. For example, me, I say, oh, people in, I don't know, in Krakow should be defended by me, and I move to Krakow with this weapon. It's stupid situation. We can imagine it, but it's for Russian people. This propaganda works, and they understand. Oh, I am living in Vladivostok, and I should go to 9,000 kilometers and defend some people. And of course, we will die in Ukraine, because you know, our army totally destroys this, this local initiative from Russia. So it works for stupid people, but for smart people, we try to explain situation. We try to explain situation with fakes, and of course, well, for example, in Ukraine, very popular some information, some patriotic things. For example, one guy bought two plane, you know, from like F-35 from US, bought it and gave to Ukrainian Air Forces. So it's cool, yeah. But of course, it's like joke. But it's patriotic. It's not a dangerous fake, you know. It's just funny, but it's for maybe for psychologic mentality. It's okay. Well, yes, because our journalists are professional team and professional people, and understand your question, because we have, maybe it was 1 month ago, we have several discussion with colleagues, because some people try to explain information very emotional with, you know, it's linked with rape in Bucha and Irpin. People try to explain it with details. It's very painful for understanding. This it linked, you know, with kids and rape kids. It's not. It was not a journalist. It was our some deputies, you know, officials, and they explain we should do it because it's explain European audience what happens, what's really happens, and we because we understand that Europe, it's some war, I don't know, Eastern Europe, yeah. And this guy said, no, we should explain in details. It's horrible, it's awful details, but it's not our pain. It's from Russia. They kill people, they rape our girls, etc. And our journalists said, no, we don't need share this information because we don't have enough facts, only facts. If we have facts about, for example, rape, we share this information because we have people who explain, people from this village or etc. It's okay. If we don't have documenting or some facts from our police or army, we don't share this information. So I think for, it's connection between propaganda, politics, and journalism. It's like stone. So and my answer in your question, yes, we ready to prepare only truth, because we understand if we will be more emotional than need, we support Russian propaganda, not Ukraine. We will play for Russia, not for Ukraine. And why? We are prepared only truthful information, only information in our real life. But after Russian aggression, after Putin aggression, our life is horrible. For example, I lost my two friends in as soldiers. It was several weeks ago. So of course it's painful, and I don't need additional colors for describe it. It's our real life. I've been in cemetery with, it's really painful. If some media ask me, I don't need to imagine something. I just explain my experience. For example, I lost my friend, and when I ask now, maybe ever people in Ukraine has killed brother or father or etc. in their family. For Ukrainian journalists, it's difficult because, of course, we have very good war correspondent in our media team, and a lot of very good, they have experience. But a lot of journalists work for example, I work for politics, for energy sector. I was concentrate on other things. So for us, it was challenge, of course, but we received very good support from our national union of journalists and our team, I mean management team, and we receive special equipment, special bulletproof vests, and etc. It's dangerous, but for me, if you talk about my reflection on this situation, for me, for example, more difficult talk with people who lost their, I don't know, daughter, and who looking for their parents after Russian army in the village. So for me, more difficult. Not private security, but talk with people, try to explain what I need, what information I need, and why it's important to explain how how it was difficult, you know, because I'm Kiev now, and it was Bucha, Irpin. We have a lot of reports from this village. It's very close to Kiev, maybe 10 minutes by car. So for me, maybe most difficult, not it's of course when you listen sound from rocket or some bullet, it's difficult for understanding. But for me, maybe emotional part, communicate with people when people understand that they lost their house, you know, they lost their family. For example, you know, one guy, he is police, he's cop, and he after in his house, it was Bucha or Irpin, I don't know exactly now, six people of all his family was killed by rocket, daughter, wife, mother, and he was on work, of course, because police now are working. So one day he lost all his family, and he should work and work again. He can't stop his life. You know, when you communicate with people in this situation, it's difficult to ask, difficult to try to support, maybe, you know, and explain why it's important for our audience, and you know, retranslate his pain, his feeling for audience, and maybe explain why it's necessary for audience understand what Russian army do in our country.